So experiment 24 is going to be an aldol condensation. Specifically, you're going to be reacting benzyl with 1,3-diphenyl acetone, and that's going to give you the product tetracycline. Which is given with that structure where I'm indicating the aromatic rings with either pH in my reacting materials or with this circle with a dash through it in my product. This mechanism is going to perform through an enolate formation, and that enolate is going to be able to do the attack, and actually it's going to do that twice whenever you go through. Tetracycline is actually a very important material in material sciences. It's used as a starting material in different reactions as well as for graphene. So in this reaction, very little safety concerns that you have to be aware of. However, we are using ethanol, which is flammable, so we do want to take those precautions as necessary, as well as we're going to be doing this reaction in the presence of a base, specifically sodium hydroxide, and we're going to be using solid sodium hydroxide pellets, which those are caustic, so of course if you were to do this lab, you want to be wearing your gloves at all times. Other than that, once you do your reaction, you're going to recrystallize it out using ethanol and toluene, and then you'll submit that product for an NMR and do a melting point as well. Be sure to watch the video so that way you can see where the melting point is going to be so that you can record it and use it for your own observations.
Alright, so what I have here is a round bottom flask with 1,3-diphenyl acetone and ethanol, and I'm waiting for all of the 1,3-diphenyl acetone to dissolve. Alright, so now that the diphenyl acetone has completely dissolved, I will now add benzyl and sodium hydroxide. I have it weighed out in this weigh boat. And what I want to do here is stir it for a couple minutes, a couple seconds rather, and then start heating it to reflux. So I will first turn the water on, making sure not to spray the lab with a bunch of water. And then I will raise the hot plate up to start heating the flask and refluxing the reaction. So now that I've been heating this for 10 minutes and the reaction has gotten significantly darker, I can now stop heating it. So remove the hot plate from the flask. I'm going to continue stirring and allow this to cool for about 10 minutes down to room temperature. Alright, so now, since my reaction mixture has cooled down to room temperature, I can put it in an ice bath to further crystallize out a crude product. Alright, so now that my reaction mixture has been cooled for about 10 minutes, I can filter it. So what I'll do first is wet the filter paper with a little bit of solvent. In this case it's ethanol. I will then turn on the vacuum pump and filter my solid. What I'm now going to do is wash with a small amount of ethanol, about 1 milliliter. now that I've done that, I can move on to the recrystallization step. So now that I have the solid filtered and in a flask, I'll add a small amount of this 50-50 toluene and ethanol mixture. So what I'm then going to do is heat this and continue adding the ethanol toluene mixture periodically until the solid is completely dissolved. So now that I've been heating this and I've added roughly 35 milliliters of the toluene ethanol mixture, I am finished heating, so what I'm going to do is slowly cool this down to room temperature. So now after I have let my product sit at room temperature for about 10 minutes, I've let it sit in the ice bath for about 20 minutes, which that should have solidified most of the product. Now what I'm going to do is filter it. So first thing to do is wet it with a tiny bit of ethanol. And pull suction on that. And then I will pour my product into the funnel. Now that most of my product has been poured from the flask, but not all of it, I'm going to rinse it with a small amount of ethanol. Before I do that, I want to make sure it's cold so that as much as possible stays out of solution rather than being in solution. I'd call that about good. Now I want to leave the vacuum on for about 5 minutes to allow the product to dry. So now, since I've left this on the vacuum for about 10 minutes, I can pour this onto a pre-weighed watch glass. So let's go over to the scales and tare the watch glass, and then transfer all of the product as possible onto the watch glass. I will then reweigh the watch glass to get my final product weight.